their radios to radio back to the main positions, or even heavy cruisers that are steaming in the English Channel. Cruisers such as HMS Belfast, she'll be able to bring her 22-inch shells down onto these German positions quite accurately. Now you can see the position being reconnaissanced by this Daimler Dingo. We saw that earlier on. Now this is exactly what the Dingo will be used for, and it would be using its agility to keep itself out of trouble. It's not well armoured, in fact it's only armoured with a Bren machine gun at the front. The thing about the Dingo, it can actually go as fast in reverse as it can going forward. It has 5 reverse gears on it. Now these troops here are being reinforced with regular British infantry, these reconnaissance troops. And the reconnaissance troops took a lot of casualties, and these will be operating maybe 10 kilometres in front of the main infantry line by the Allies. And this is such important information. It's how wars are won, information. And we can see some troops being deployed here. These are troops from the Duke of Wellington Regiment. And quite easily recognise these troops on the Phantom Division. Their black berets on. So they're going to move gingerly into this German position to try and get a better look at it. Watch that mine! It's following a mine, look at that! Now then, that's alerted the Germans. They know they're in trouble right to the mine. That Jeep there, stay out of trouble with its agility and its manoeuvrability. Now, the reconnaissance, as I say, are not really equipped to take on this German position. These German troops are still very, very well motivated, and they have a lot of excellent equipment. So there's no way these reconnaissance guys will be able to take on these German infantry. So they're doing the sensible thing, staying well out of the way. They're going to be relying on the main Allied infantry, which are landing about 2 kilometres away, and their gliders and parachuting down. And they'll be ready to push back. You know, this is where the German position is. So we'll see how the recon get on, or not. But they're actually doing the sensible thing, is going straight away. There's no way they have the armour or the heavy weaponry to take on this German position. So then the Germans have fought off the first Allied probing attack on the recon, but they've done exactly what they're designed to do, which is report back where the German position is. Lost the Daimler Dingo, of course. That hit a German telemine in the minefield. Now, the next attack, the paratroopers, as I say, have landed about 1 kilometre away. We'll see how the paratroopers get on. They know where the German position is now through the recon. Now the Germans have seen the reconnaissance off. The paratroopers moving into where the Dingo has been taken out. The paratroopers have been reinforced by regular infantry as well, and the reconnaissance. And of course the reconnaissance will be trained frontline infantry as well. The Germans not going to give up this position at all. They know they have the advantage as the defending troops. So we'll see how the British paratroopers have been reinforced by the reconnaissance and the British infantry. Now the Germans retreating in the face of this attack by the paratroopers. Now the Germans doing the sensible thing here, retreating back to their more defended positions. It's going to take a lot to take this German position, but they've left their radar. Certainly the British paratroopers and the infantry doing very, very well at the moment, pushing those Germans back. Field dome looks like it's intact. Major will be very, very happy with that. So Let's see how our British soldiers get on. Airborne and infantry working very, very well together. A lot of the British paratroopers will be fighting in their red berets. Oh, that's nice. Smoke ring, eh? Now, what's going on now? The Germans are at the back in their pre-defended positions. Or they're making a counter-attack themselves, and they're going to evacuate in their wounded back. Very sensible. Some more Germans reinforcing on the other side of the battlefield. This is a heavily defended position that the Germans have got, and this is going to take some taking from the Allies, I'll tell you that. And what the Major's doing here is just keeping the German heads down. This German attack on the back of the battlefield. Now, as tough as the paratroopers are, the Majors, I think, has made the right decision. Assault on these defended positions, and the Germans really take advantage of this. The Allies retreating very, very sensibly. There's no way you can take on this German position with the MG-34 and 42. You know, this type of soldiering is how it should be. You see it on the TV and the films, everybody attacking. It just wasn't like that. These soldiers were fighting for their lives. The last thing that they want to do is actually take on a German position. And the Major's doing the right thing. He's actually bringing on his heavy artillery or light artillery to actually bombard the German position. And you can see how these are deployed. So what the Allies are going to do now is what's called soften up the German position. So the recon has spotted where they are. The paratroopers made a slight attack on the German position, done the right thing, pulled back, and they're going to artillery deal with this German position. So we'll see how they get on. The artillery piece next to me is a 6-pounder, and this will be primarily used to take out German panzer tanks. But I think at this time he's going to be looking at the German positions. Certainly that bunker is a good target to fire at. And on the other side of the battlefield we have 2 howitzers. Now these howitzers can hurl a 17-pound shell well over 7 miles. And this German position is presenting a really good target. There's no rush, they'll just get there and just bombard this German position. And the Germans know this, so they'll be keeping their heads down and spreading out as much as they can in their prepared positions. So we'll see how the British artillery get on, taking on board this German defended position. Major's doing the right thing, keeping his very vulnerable infantry out of the way. 6-pounder opens up, and it looks like they're aiming at the Nebelwerfer, the German rocket device. Very sensible thing to do. You see the Nebelwerfer will be firing little rockets back as well. Howitzers take a bit more time to get it organised. A lot heavier piece of equipment. 6-pounder is a lot lighter shell. And Major do the right thing again, directing his men behind the wreckage of the Daimler Dingo. A very, very vulnerable assault. So howitzer now, another pound the German position. The Germans are just going to keep their heads down and just really hope that you're not hit by a shell next to you. So we'll see how these howitzers get on. Yeah, definitely got the 0 into the German position. Right next to the bunker. Now he's saying defend your gun. Used up the shells. And the British infantry there, even with the 6-pounder, will be equipped as regular infantry. Because what we see now is the Americans and these ranks. with all our referee. Let's give it a big round of applause. Come on, Americans. Come on, let's give it a big round of applause. Here they come. This is what Major Richards wants. Both sides really working together well now. We've got the Americans, we've got the British all working together. All in radio contact. Now the Germans are in trouble. Their positions being handled by the howitzers. The Americans pushing in an attack on the left-hand side of the battlefield. Howitzers still firing onto the German position, but that fuel is still intact in the centre, which is excellent news for the Major. That's the bit he would want to get. Now then, you can see how the Americans are taking cover behind their jeeps. Although very lightly armoured, they will provide protection against bullets from the German K-98. Now, what are the Germans up to? They're just keeping their heads down, very, very sensible in their pre-prepared positions. So again, this is going to take some attacking by the Major. The howitzers softening up the position. The Americans moving through the graveyard, which the Germans held twice. It was taken by the Allies. Germans pushed them out and retaken again. So on one side of the battlefield, we have the Americans and the 82nd, and it looks like the British paratroopers are going to concentrate their attack on the back of the battlefield. And this is what an army wants to do, is attack on two flanks, like a pincer movement, in fact, and bring fire down onto the enemy. So the Americans moving through the graveyard, pushing the Germans back. Soldiers there on the 6-pounder operating as regular infantry. They do very, very effectively. German position really holding out. Say that would be really well prepared. Reinforced concrete. Americans. Oh no, what's that? The Americans there. He's got charge. He hasn't really learned how to use that. He's going to put it in the fuse. That actually detonated far too quickly. He didn't expect that, did he? He thought it was a 20-second fuse, more like a 2-second. And now he's going to have to be evacuated out. That's a medic problem. There's Lieutenant very brave putting that satchel charge on the fuse. Maybe a faulty one. Actually only gave him 2 seconds to get away, and it didn't. And actually blew his back up. Right, let's see how we get on here. The German radar blown up. Few of them still intact, which is good news. And then the Allies reaching the edge of this pre-prepared German defence. The so-called Atlantic Wall. Designed and built by no less than Rommel himself. Now the German radar smoking away. They're not going to like that. Now the British attacking on one side of the flank. Very, very successful attack, pushing the Germans into their bunker. Now to take a bunker is a very, very difficult thing indeed. Now the Americans again are pushing on one flank, Major going right through the centre.